Hey guys, Shawn Cheek of webpianoteacher.com here. We're going to learn to play another Elton John song today. I think this makes like 80 that I've done over the past 20 years. Border song. Okay, let's take a listen. Holy Moses, I have been removed. I have seen the spectre. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Holy Moses, right? Okay, let's get back up to the top. All right, well, like I said, I've done like 80 Elton John songs over the past 20 years. And for just $1, you can try my website for 7 days, no obligation, no tricks, cancel anytime, and the option to download my sheets for all my Elton John transcriptions. I don't know of any other library on the planet that has as many accurate Elton John lessons and arrangements as my website. Yes, you can find sheets and stuff, but as you know, they're never right. They never are like the real thing. So that's kind of been my bread and butter is giving you accuracy and authenticity in these arrangements. So let's get going. All right, so this is one page of many pages for this song. We're just going to learn a lot about Elton John, whether you just do the part one or the whole thing. All right, we are in the key of C. We're going to start with a C chord, C, G on the left, right hand C, E, C. You don't have to use my fingerings, but you can if you want. So we play the C chord to start with. And notice he doesn't do the whole chord, even though he could. Sometimes less is more. And that kind of an open sound without the G here is kind of nice to start with. One, da, da, da. So we're just rolling the C chord, C, E, G. And then we're playing an F chord. C, F, C on the right, A on the left hand. That's an F chord. Did you know that? F, A, C, any way you slice it up and dice it, is an F chord. Okay, doesn't matter what order the letters are in, as long as it's F, A, C. So work on just that much. Let's try. Okay, you want to hear the next part. Okay, 1, 2. Just keep holding that C on the bass. Make sure that this is staccato. See that staccato there, the little dot? Those of you who are new to me may notice, oh, it's kind of like the staff. It is like the staff. I just write the letter names instead of the note heads because a lot of people struggle with that and it becomes a roadblock when they could be playing this wonderful music. So that's all it is. So I'm going to play that chord again, and then I'm going to make it go back down to G, E for the C chord. Okay, now don't pedal this and go and blur it all. Okay, it's got to be a clean pedal right there. So slowly, 1, 2. See how I let off, but I kept that pinky bass on the bottom. That's a very gospel thing to do. I call it the Baptist cadence. You know, Amen. Elton John makes use of that tremendously in his music. Okay, and then we're going to do it again. F chord, A, C, F, ba, ba. And then we start again, but keep that C down on the top so it mixes with the next note you press, which will make a C chord. All right, so 1, 2. Okay, so the pedal and holding this C and that C is important. Okay, so work on just that part until you can get it. Most people's mistake is they bite off more than they can chew. They tried too much. Can you play just one measure? Can you play just two measures? Maybe it takes you the whole day just to get the two. That's okay. Okay, as long as you have a success in a small area, then you can repeat that success and eventually you'll learn the whole thing. Okay, so good repetitions. We're kind of doing this little figure again. Da-da-bop. Okay, so this is exactly like that. Okay, and this is exactly like that until we get to here. Holy Moses. So that's where the verse is going to start. So this little intro here is really just you know, one thing repeated twice. Now, when we get to the verse, it's D, B in the right, left hand on a B. Okay, when I transcribe, guys, I got the headphones on and I listen to every little single thing I can hear to give you authenticity. D and B, B on the left hand. Okay, if there's not a G in the right hand, I don't put it. Okay. Holy Moses. So D, B, and then we go, change your pedal there, A minor, C, A in the right, left hand on an A. So there's a sixth. Elton John likes to use those parallel sixths. So the piano goes bum, 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 bum. Not only is the melody of that Elton writes beautiful, but so is the piano part, even by itself. Holy. So A minor, we go bum, bum, E, A, bum, bum. And then on the A, then you play this. C and A together with 1 and 3. 4, 5 will be in C. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, now we've worked on that. Now let's try the whole line, okay? Now I'm assuming you've done repetitions on this. Use the pause function on your video. On the website, you can slow down the video so that you can, you know, have a little more time to see what's going on. Here we go. 1, 2. 1, 2. Holy Now Moses, we get down to the next part. So let's look at the next line. After we go, Holy Moses, I have been removed. Okay, so I'm going to take this one next measure here. For you, this might be day 2, okay, or hour 2, however you're working on stuff. Okay, you don't have to keep up with me. If you can, why do you need me? All right, so G sharp, E, A. That E kind of goes with the next octave. Bum, bum. It's kind of something Elton John does with his 2-finger. Da, 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 da. Kind of anticipates the next octave with that 2-finger, the 5th, in the middle of it. So G sharp, and then you have your 2-finger all ready to go on the E for the next measure. Right hand, D, B, and then add a D on top. I'm using 1, 3, 5 on that. See, so it's Holy Moses. It's kind of hard to start right there singing. I'm starting with the measure above. Holy Moses, bum, bum, I have been removed. Okay, bum, bum. Look at the left hand first. E, A, E, G sharp, E, A. I always like to look at the left hand first because it's what people think they have the most trouble with. So do it first so that it gets the most attention. And then you won't be so afraid of it. All right, right hand, bum, 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 bum. So the first one is a little scale on the EC, the 6th. And then we go back to this 6th of the DB. When I say 6th, I mean distance. That's a 6th apart, that's a 6th apart. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6ths. So this is D and B with 1 and 5, and then FD is that chord in the middle. Makes a fully diminished 7th chord if you want to know what the name of the chord is. It's G sharp fully diminished. Okay, so right there, I have been redeemed. Go a little more, bum, bum, E, A. Then I'm going to play C, E on the right hand. That's an A minor, A, C, E. Okay, it's really helpful to know what chord you're playing. It's a roadmap. Starting up at the top there on that measure. Holy Moses, I have been redeemed. All right, so do. This leads into the next measure there. So do-da-da-da-da. I'm going to use a 3-finger on that A. 3, 2, 3, 4. And then E, C in the next measure. That's just an A on the left hand. You're already holding it. I have seen the specter. So E, C. And then we have E, G, C. Hopefully you know that's a C chord. C, E, G. Left hand, C, G, C. And again, that little 2-octave thing that Elton does. I have seen the specter. 1, a 2, da, da. 1, a 2, B, B. So there that B leads into the next measure. Right hand, D, B. And then D octave with the B again. And then we're back to the G, C. Bum, bum. And then right hand, E, C. So right here, I have seen the specter. Now you work on that whole part once you do repetitions on that. Okay, I'm just playing it 1 or 2 times. You need to play it maybe 3 or 4. Reps on each little section. You'll go a lot slower, Maybe you go 1, dun, dun. That's totally fine. Slow is okay. Pauses are okay as long as you're pushing the right buttons. The speed will come after you start memorizing what to do, but play it correctly, slowly, instead of fastly, wrongly, okay? All right, so top. Let's see. Holy Moses, I have seen the specter. All right, so there we are. One more line. Na, na, na. This is a completion of that measure I started up there. See, I started with bop, bop. Ran out of room. Okay, so da, na, 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 na. So all right, and people wonder, well, what's on the website? It's just the rest of the song. if you get the part 1, it's going to be the other parts are just like it, measure by measure, all the way through till we get through the whole song. So E, C on the top, and I'm going to use my 4th finger so that I can say my 5th finger for the D. So I have seen the specter. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Da, 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 da. Whatever the lyrics are there. The specter part is right here. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, so 1, bop, bop, bop. E, C, 4, 5, 4. Left hand has the middle C. Now that B goes with the E octave. So you want to put your 2 finger on it. Get down there and do it with a 2. So you play the C. If you play with a 5, then you're not in position to do the E octave. So put a 2 on there. If you can't remember, when you print your sheet off or put it on a digital iPad or something, put a 2 there so you'll use a 2 finger. All right. Here we have an E chord. So an E chord, an E major chord, and by the way, if you just say E chord, we assume major, okay? In music theory lingo, if you don't say minor, we assume major. But if it's a minor chord, you have to say minor, or no one knows that. So top, right hand, E, A, B, E, that's a suspension. The G sharp of the E chord is suspended as an A. It's called a 4/3 suspension. Elton uses them all the time, so do a lot of other artists. All right, so that measure up there that we can't see. So B, E, E, E. Here the song has kind of a dun, da, dun, da, dun kind of rhythm, kind of pulse. So then we resolve the suspension, E, G sharp, B, E. Bum. Then a new section. So if I start on that chord up there, so this next part here is we'll take some work to play it and sing it. All right, so I may just play the piano part. So E, C, G with the 2 fingers, C, right hand E, G, C, E, 4-note chord, 1, 2, 4, 5. Learn to use that 4th finger. Don't stretch the 3rd over finger to do that. Use the 4th. It's right there. Learn to use that 4th finger. Okay, and after you play that, you have this. And it's just an octave with, a 6th in the middle, or a 3rd if you want to count from the top. C, D, E, okay? Now, the way you play that is not arm, arm, arm. You play it flap, flap, flap with your wrist, okay? Don't tense up your whole arm and everybody does that and they're all tense on their shoulders and everything. And you're actually working against yourself to play this. Relax, loosen up, flap, flap, flap. It's this motion. That's why it looks so easy to people who can play it, because it is easy because they don't tense up all their muscles and they just use the wrist. So use your wrist there. So 1. Let's see. That's pretty, isn't it? All by itself. Not even any vocals. The piano sounds beautiful. All right, da 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 da, and that B. So if you see a note at the end of an Elton John measure, and you go, that doesn't seem to fit. If you go, that's weird because you got to keep going. Da ba 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 ba. That lilt, da da, because it's leading us into the next measure. Na, 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 na. All right, so this is going to be B, right hand. A and D, I call that a country third. Some people call it a slip note. I like country third. So da 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 D E, and then D B D, and then you have the upper octave of the left hand B. Now you might look at that and go, is that a B chord? What chord? It's a G chord with a B on the bass. So if you look at all the notes together, you say, well, there's no G in there. I know there's not, but there could be. It's understood that it's in there, okay? It's just, so if you're looking for the root of the chord is not in there. So if you ever wonder about that, put it in there and see if it still sounds okay. And it does. The G harmonizes with it. So it's a G chord with a B on the bass, okay? And you'll learn to recognize this stuff as you start thinking about it. Play a bunch of songs. Okay? And then C, 2 finger on the C. Okay? And before we go on, I'm just going to kind of back up. Because I'm trying to teach you guys not only the song, but how to be a musician. I'm not interested in teaching someone one song. Maybe that's what you're interested in. Okay, but then what do? I mean, you just play one song, then you never do music anymore. I think we need to train musicians that can play lots of songs. If you like one song, you'll like another song and another one and another one. Okay, so I want to teach you how to be a musician, teach you how to fish instead of just showing you what buttons to push, and then you don't know what the heck you're doing. I want you to know what you're doing. So I teach theory, technique, expression, pedaling, all of those things in the fun songs that we're doing. Instead of going off to the side and having all these exercises and boring worksheets, let's just learn that stuff while we're playing real music. Okay? That measure's hard, stick with it. Some measures might be harder than others. So in that case, work that measure more. Okay, these 2 measures here are the hardest that we've had thus far. So work on those 2, okay? All right. Now that's C. What did I tell you about the lone note at the end of the measure in the left hand? It probably goes to the next octave, and it does. All right, so F chord. C, F, A, C, 1, 2, 4, 5. You could use a 3 there, so whatever you want to do there. F octave. Then you play the C, A, C, left hand on an F. G, B, F, A, E, G. These are called parallel thirds, parallel sixths. That's what we were kind of using before. Now he's got parallel thirds. So you play the first one, and I'm going to go 4, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2. And then he plays an A there to get ready for the D. So it's work on that one little section. Da, da, na, 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 na. Okay, 1 and 2. So after you play this, now let's say that's just so hard. I can't get that so hard. Just play the top note. Okay, for a while, and then later you can add in the thirds, but don't let it ruin the whole song for you. I keep forgetting that A, so on my sheet I would maybe circle the A. This is D minor, D octave, left hand A, D, F, 1, 2, 4. Then I'm going to put a third finger on the A so that I'm in position for the next. A lot of fingering is determined by what's coming up. Am I in position for the next thing? D, F, A, D, and you'll find an instinct maybe kicks in eventually for what fingerings to use. I never think about it. I just play until my hand kind of figures it out because I've played for so long. You can get to that point too. Now if I start up there on that measure, C, where he goes, na, 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 2, a 1. that part. So I'm about to play the whole page, but in showing you how to practice, measure by measure, and then line by line. And then finally, you can go page by page, okay? Eventually, have a routine that's scheduled out for your practice, okay? And do it in a way you're going to have small successes, and you can build on that. Don't feel bad if all you do in one day is 2 or 3 or 4 measures, okay? That's how everybody starts at 0, okay? Now, let's try the whole page. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Instead of showing the whole page, because that gets maybe too small for me, I'm going to do 2 and then try to scroll for the last one, all right? So here's the beginning. Holy Moses, I have been removed. I have seen the specter. Na, 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 na. There we go. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you on the website. It's only $1 to give it a try and see how much Elton John you can learn in a week. Talk to you later.